Oh, it's more difficult. It makes it more, I'm being honest, it makes it more difficult to do.
But more likely a no for Combs?
What if the dark truths behind Jeffrey Epstein's empire did not die with him in that Manhattan jail cell? And what if music mogul Sean Diddy Combs was not just skimming the edges of that darkness, but buried deep in its core? This is the kind of question conspiracy circles have whispered about for years, and now it has moved into the spotlight with the weight of a federal indictment and a vault full of unspoken sins. The similarities between Epstein and Diddy are not just unsettling, they look almost like a copied blueprint. Two powerful figures, two worlds ruled by secrecy and temptation, two paths littered with broken victims, shocking claims, and underground gatherings where rules did not just bend, they vanished.
Did he walk that back, do you think?
We have all heard the phrases before: Epstein Island freak-offs, client lists, blackmail tapes. But what if they are not separate stories? What if they are one tale with different backdrops? Both men built fantasy worlds for the super-rich. Behind velvet ropes and glass penthouses, the shine of glamour hid something far darker: coercion, surveillance, leverage. For Epstein, it was the infamous black book and cameras hidden in every suite at Little St. James. For Diddy, the rumors point to a blackmail vault, a digital prison supposedly loaded with footage from his notorious parties, secret recordings said to be made in LA, Miami, and the Bahamas, where the stars arrived and the rules disappeared.
Both accused in high-profile scandals, both convinced they were being unfairly targeted, and both using the media to frame themselves as victims. But then everything shifted. Diddy was denied bail. After that, Trump came out and said that he once got along with Diddy very well, but that he was leaning towards not pardoning Diddy because Diddy was, quote, very hostile to him during the time that Trump was running.
These were the kinds of parties that became legend in the music world, not because of the songs, but because of what happened when the phones were taken and the curtains were drawn. Freak-offs, as prosecutors casually called them, were said to be multi-day indulgences filmed from angles only the keeper of the tapes would see. A former bodyguard who left Diddy's crew in 2021 told a blogger that he once saw hard drives being carried out of the Miami mansion in an armored case. The whispers say those drives were insurance. Insurance for what? That is what keeps insiders on edge. If Epstein had dirt on billionaires, some believe Diddy's stash could match or even surpass it.
What I don't think realized was he had cameras all over the place, unbeknownst to them. And now he has all that footage, supposedly. This is what I'm told. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens if, you're a huge, iconic, TV star or movie star, and you're in some very...
So how has Diddy managed to walk through this firestorm with only a singed coat, while others in the same circles have fallen? The theory begins with that vault. Some claim Diddy was not only hosting these parties, but filming them, and not for entertainment. One LA producer told Rolling Stone that several celebrities were terrified after the first lawsuit appeared, not because of what they were accused of, but because of what might be on video. They feared footage more than allegations, if even part of the claims are true. Then politicians, athletes, and actors were caught doing things they would never want public. That would make the vault less of a myth and more of a loaded weapon. And Diddy is not just wealthy, he is wired into powerful networks. His contact list is an encrypted jungle of White House alumni media power players, top-tier publicists, and even a sitting senator. Despite dozens of lawsuits and a conviction, those connections have stayed silent, but one person refused to stay quiet. Maureen Comey, a federal prosecutor tied to both the Epstein and Diddy cases, was abruptly fired last month with no reason given. The fact she had worked on both cases is not a coincidence. It is a red flag. Her firing would have raised eyebrows alone. But what she wrote afterward made it explosive. She said fear is the tool of a tyrant used to silence independent thought. She did not need to name names. The timing was surgical, days after her team failed to convict Diddy on major trafficking charges. But weeks before sentencing on smaller counts, she was gone. Reports say she was pushing to link the freak-off events to interstate transport violations under the Mann Act and approved an inquiry into possible blackmail. Then she vanished from the SDNY office without reassignment or transfer.
You was just enough to show you how deep this thing goes and why this story isn't going away. So stick around because what you're about to see is straight from
The official word is no comment. But in the halls of justice, the whispers are loud. Did she find something she was not supposed to? Did her investigation into the crossover between Epstein's network and Diddy's empire upset someone high up? Remember, Pam Bondi. The Attorney General chosen by Trump once hinted that she had the full Epstein files on her desk. This week, she said there is no list and no extra files, claiming years of speculation were for nothing. It is the same disappearing act now. Seen around. Diddy even. Trump, a man never shy about speaking his mind, has been strangely restrained. He told Newsmax he wanted to release everything regarding Epstein, but added, "I just do not want people to get hurt." When asked about Diddy, he did not rule out a pardon, but did not commit either calling him sort of half-innocent and admitting he had been approached about clemency. The tone was mixed, and the body language even more so.
I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great, and seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well. But when I ran for office, he was very hostile.
He said some not so nice things about you, sir.
And
Yes.
it's hard, like you, we're human beings.
Right.
And we don't like to have things cloud our judgment, right? But when you knew someone and you were fine, and then you run for office and he made some terrible statements.
That one comment set off group chats from Beverly Hills to D.C., who approached Trump, and why pardons are not given without cost, either in political capital or personal risk. You only consider one when something heavy hangs over your head. Now with the Epstein probe shut down and the Diddy fallout oddly muted with no star witnesses or major shocks, the coincidences are stacking higher. The vault is still unproven with no warrant finding it and no charges naming it yet. Almost everyone believes it exists. A former music executive told Variety she overheard a Bad Boy Records assistant say if the vault leaks, everyone is done. She thought it was bluff at the time, now she is not so sure. Another rumor claims that after Homeland Security raided Diddy's homes in 2024, they seized encrypted files that remain locked. If those files match even a slice of the rumors with names, places, and dates, the shockwaves could tear through multiple industries.
He wants all the Trump stuff to go, he wants all the Epstein stuff to go away, right? That's his main motivation, is he doesn't want his name mentioned with Epstein in the same sentence because that is hurting him and it's fracturing his party and his base. So he's nervous about it, but he could use Ghislaine as someone who says, I know everything there is to know about Jeffrey Epstein and you weren't part of anything bad, because she's the most credible person to say that.
Meanwhile, the DOJ says the Epstein case is closed. No client list, no blackmail, and in the same memo they included a link to footage from Epstein's cell missing over a minute. A minute the prison software loses every night, too convenient to be a glitch. It has become a symbol of what gets erased from the record, and now Diddy, like Epstein, is in federal custody. Not in the same prison, but the image is striking. The once untouchable mogul staring out through reinforced glass, waiting for sentencing. Unlike Epstein, Diddy still has cards to play. The question is whether he holds leverage or if he is the leverage. Because in both these sagas, it is never the accusations that destroy someone, it is the evidence. And if that evidence is locked in, a vault behind biometrics and sealed by fear, we may never see it unless someone opens it or already has.
Can't stand you, Mr. President. He was once nice to you, he's turned on you, and he doesn't deserve a favor from you, who he worked actively to stop.
And hanging over it all, the raids, the vault, the missing footage is a question few want to ask. Why does Trump keep dodging Diddy's name? This is a man who pardoned allies with serious records like it was a weekend hobby, but when asked about Combs, he said, sort of half innocent, then added, it makes it more difficult. Is that difficulty because of Diddy's political history, or because something in that vault has his name? Trump once partied with Diddy, smiled for cameras, and traded public compliments. That is all documented. But in a time when footage can be weaponized and prosecutors can vanish, admiration can become ammunition. If Diddy kept a blackmail archive stretching back 2 decades, as some insiders believe, it is unlikely he caught only entertainers. These parties may not have been just indulgence. They may have been staged productions lit and filmed with care, with participants unaware, until it was too late and the footage already became leverage.
Involve a famous singer to not come out, here's the price. And that they're just selling to the individuals that are in those. This is what I heard. They're selling those videos. So if you're Tommy X, and Tommy X is a big, big movie star, and he was at some of the Diddy parties, he was in one of those bedrooms with 3 other men, and he's happily married to a woman, and blah. Tommy doesn't want that video.
This is the darker layer beneath the surface. These gatherings may have been designed for more than pleasure. They may have been about power, about influence, about securing loyalty by holding someone's worst secret on a drive. That is what made the Epstein files such an obsession, not only the crimes, but the potential fallout. And if Diddy took that model and made it bigger, then the vault is not just a smoking gun, it is a nuclear device. Staff have described guests having phones taken signing, long NDAs, and being chauffeured to secret spots in Miami, LA, or on islands. Drinks were served, strangers were introduced with no names exchanged. Some attendees say they were promised fame. Others say they were told it was just a vibe. But hidden behind the scenes were pro-grade cameras, mics in plants, and backup drives in the basement. One former employee claims Diddy's real studio was not about music at all, but about control.
Look at Diddy, for instance. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at him. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at. He has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much, but what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war.
And if control was the aim and the system worked, why has no major name other than Combs fallen, despite numerous lawsuits, including some from high-profile people? Under aliases, Epstein's circle only collapsed after he was removed, and even then, the full list stayed hidden. Could we be watching the same plan again? Let one man fall, burn his image, but keep the structure running. It is no accident Pam Bondi once boldly claimed the Epstein files were on her desk and now insists they never existed, as if years of evidence and testimony were a shared hallucination. The backlash came fast from all sides, but she stood firm, delivering. The line as though it had been written in advance. No names, no blackmail, nothing to see.
We're all going to take a disgusting trip to his seedy, awful world. You know, the man has no class. He has no kindness in his dark, dark heart. And he's depraved. That's my opinion. This is a depraved, disgusting individual about whom I wish to hear nothing after this trial is done.
We are being told to believe that billionaires and politicians with Epstein were only at friendly lunches, and that celebrities at Diddy's freak-offs were just sipping drinks and singing karaoke. Ignore that both men were accused of filming everything. Ignore the long list of legal filings, sealed records, gag orders, and quick settlements. Both stories somehow end the same, with no one else taken down. And this is not only about history, it is about what still lies ahead. Diddy's sentencing in October has some in his former circle nervous. What if he talks? What if the vault, real or not, becomes his bargaining tool? What if someone in power decides silence is no longer guaranteed? An entertainment lawyer says people are panicking. Executives are deleting old emails, agents are rewriting deals. Some cases go back to when Diddy and Epstein hosted together in the Hollywood Hills. This is more than a scandal. It is a protected network. When Maureen Comey was removed, it was more than a job change. It was a warning that prosecutors who dig too deep into the link between entertainment and elite protection can disappear without reason. Comey said, "Do not let fear guide your decisions." But from what we see, fear is already in control.
I'm just like really, I'm in this moment right now. This is crazy. I'm sorry. People don't really know how much what it does to you when something that you love is taken from you and thrown away like it don't even matter. And then they move on with their lives and you're stuck. You're stuck during those years. You're still stuck 21.
There is a pattern we have seen before, and it looks less like chance and more like choreography. Remember the unexplained missing minute from Epstein's cell video on the night he allegedly died. The very minute the world needed answers, most vanished. Authorities called it a glitch-outdated gear, a nightly reset. But now the same digital disappearance is showing up in the Diddy case. Prosecutors mention missing files, partial backups, and surveillance that failed at key times, and every time new. Evidence is set to appear, something goes quiet.
Surprised by the evidence that's already coming out in the criminal trial?
No, I'm not surprised. I experienced some of those things.
The same federal bodies meant to guard evidence are the ones losing hours of data in major cases. This is not just a tech issue. When this pattern repeats, it stops being accident and starts looking like procedure. A procedure built to shield the highest levels. These missing minutes, corrupted files, and erased logs are not just ghosts in the system. They are signals that somewhere decisions are being made about what the public can know. That level of control across administrations and cases suggests more than incompetence. It suggests a machinery of silence able to edit reality as it happens. And if both Epstein and Diddy kept secrets dangerous enough to threaten that machinery, it is no wonder the recordings keep vanishing.
The filth that's starting to come out in the early days of the Diddy trial, this of course is P. Diddy. Surprise, surprise, he's a creep. Surprise, surprise, he's done horrible.
There is something disturbingly familiar about watching Diddy fall. The truth is still out of reach, and his conviction may be covering something larger. This is not only about crimes at parties, it is about a system that protects those with access, and those with proof of who was present. If the vault appears and the full library leaks, will we see names we never imagined? Will we watch reputations collapse? Or will it all be brushed off again as fake? Because if anyone truly wanted the truth, it would already be public, and that is the real story. The reason Epstein's list never appeared. The reason Diddy's vault may never reach court. We are not seeing justice play out. We are watching damage control in motion. If Diddy's secrets are as explosive as Epstein's, can we believe the truth will ever come out? Or is this another cover-up happening in front of us?